The Crits and Critters Yuletide Spooky Spectacular is a survival horror D&D one-shot unsuitable for the faint of heart and scared little babies.
Special. I hate that. I hate everything that I said there. Welcome to the Crits and Critters Spooky Spectacular Yuletide Special. This is an actual play podcast set in the solarpunk world of Unu, where magical animals use swords and lasers. But before the time when they had lasers, I am not your game master, Andrés Eduardo, but I am joined by...
Today, I am the DM. I am Austin Rasmussen. Today, we are playing a spooky spectacular. This is the type of session that I like to DM, and we are bringing it to the world of Unu.
Gulp.
Sweating.
I'm not scared.
He's scared.
Today, we're playing a 5e session set in Unu's past, and I've got 3 victims in the room today.
Oh, no.
Andrés, why don't you start and tell me about your character?
Okay, I am playing Dr. Khiem Dhin. He is by all appearances, like a big game hunter kind of guy. He's a crocodile, has the big wide-brimmed leather hat and a big, long hunting rifle, and he will introduce himself as an ecologist.
Nice. Cool. We don't need to do fun facts, right?
No.
Okay, cut this out. All right.
Fun fact about Dr. Dhin, he's gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
And introducing for the first time on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Zoe.
Yeah. First time. Hi, I'm Zoe Huddleston. I am playing a Yiayia, which is Greek for grandmother. She's like 75. She's a goat from Plakosrato. Her name is Irena Mayanidis, but Rena is what people call her.
Rena.
Yeah. And she's old and cool.
How big are her horns?
Her horns are pretty big. They're like a foot. She's a big goat. Big mountain goat.
Big Yiayia.
Big Yiayia.
Who's that?
Hello. Also for the first time on the podcast, my name is Calley, and I am playing Scoutmaster Benji, who is early to middle-aged possum. He's very dedicated to his craft of seeing little critters through nature and, seeing them through safely as possible. And he's a homely little guy.
Aww.
And are we saying classes?
Oh yeah,
right.
we didn't say that.
He's a paladin.
Paladin.
He's a paladin.
Yiayia is a warlock.
And Dr. Dhin is a mostly ranger with a couple levels in rogue there.
As part of character building for the spooky spectacular, there's a set of questions that I have politely borrowed from the Chronicles of Darkness rule set.
Mm-hmm.
And every character has privately answered those questions, sent those to me, but I don't think anyone publicly knows each other's answers yet.
Oh no. Not telling y'all my deepest, darkest secrets just yet.
Yeah, I intended to talk with all of you ahead of time and set up truly why you're there.
Okay.
But I think it'll be fun to kind of reveal on camera just a couple details about that. Let's start with Rena.
All right.
So, all of you have chartered on a ship called the Everlast.
Ooh.
A ride to a small island south of Ajrad called Camterra. At this point in Unu's history, the solarpunk technology is established and thriving.
Yes. Solar power, I think, is ubiquitous already. Communication technology is not as advanced as it is in the modern setting.
Perfect. In order to gather all the materials required to set up all the machinery and the cities and everything, one massive mine was opened on an island south of Ajrad. And from there, that's where I mean, the earth was basically strip mined underneath. It was deemed a non-ecological zone, made a lot of sense, a lot of industry there. Since the mine was no longer needed, some people stayed behind, but really that's kind of an island off the grid.
Okay.
There is a giant underwater communication line that was ran just to maintain contact with that area. But recently, that line has gone dead. And no one can exactly figure out why. Finding a charter ship there was pretty difficult. So, because people know where the island is, but in the past they used something, there was a locating device there, kind of like a beacon. And since that has gone dead, very few people can actually get to the island. But the captain and the couple that captains the Everlast said, yeah, we can find it, no problem. We'll take you there.
Okay. What's the couple that captains the Everlast like?
So they both use they, them pronouns.
Okay.
Rala is the boat captain. And they're a generic toad.
Aww.
Rala the Toad.
Toad captain.
Rala the toad.
Okay.
And then Rala's partner is Marnie. And they are a red salamander.
Toad salamander.
Marnie.
So the Everlast is sailing out of a small seaside settlement in Ajrad, which probably doesn't exist in the modern day anymore. And the Everlast is also a ship that is set for a crew of 5. It's very small.
Okay.
Used mostly for transport, and they're some of the ones who originally set up some of the communication lines underwater.
Okay.
So
we're sailing?
not quite yet.
Oh, okay.
So jumping back to Rena, you received a package in the mail
I did.
addressed from your friend on Camterra, Cleo the owl.
Yes, Cleo, we grew up together. Yeah.
So
That was a long time ago.
I am old.
after a bunch of research, you were able to locate the Everlast and managed to get this charter ship. And when you did, they had said, oh, that's fairly odd. There's 2 other people that are also looking to join us on this adventure
Weird.
to Camterra.
Okay. Well, I don't get along well with others, so I'm not super pumped for that.
Don't worry, the private bunk has a sheet. You can pull in front of it. Lots of privacy on our little vessel.
All right.
Let's jump over to Benji.
Hello.
So we haven't discussed this just yet. You're a scout.
Scoutmaster.
Scoutmaster. What is it about navigating...
Respect on Benji's name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Benji has proved to be a pretty proficient navigator through the wilderness, especially in cold environments. What is it about his navigational skills that makes him so proficient about getting out of these situations?
I would say that he has to rely on different senses. He's a possum, so he can't see. And he has to really work on environmental memory, muscle memory, tracking, which side of the rock the moss grows on, every little thing that you can tell about where you are, navigating with stars. He uses all of those to, most of the time, great success.
Okay. Then I think Benji was approached through reputation. You've been to Camterra once before.
Okay.
And with the island being disappeared and your innate intuitiveness, you were actually reached out to by Rala.
My good friend. My good toad friend.
Your good toad friend.
Yes.
How much history do you have with Marnie and Rala?
I'd like to say we maybe met about a decade back. We've stayed pretty good pen pals. Obviously, this is their job. They're here all the time. I'm not here all the time. So we keep in touch. We check in around the holidays about once a year.
Okay, perfect. And let's get to Dr. Dhin.
Oh, hi there.
Just before communication lines went dry,
Yeah.
there was sort of a creepypasta, essentially, that started going around the
Interweb.
Interweb.
Yep. It's
yeah.
dial up right now.
So it was deemed for a long time as fake until a friend of yours saw it and thought you may find it interesting. So the photo is from Camterra.
Yeah.
And in the background, you see mining equipment. And a lot of blood scattered all across the ground. And pile of fur and deep scratches within one of the mining equipment pieces.
My stars and garters.
Being a big game hunter, this is why it was
ecologist.
brought to you.
But that is interesting to me, yes. Well, I just don't know how I could say no to studying such a fascinating part of nature.
Does your friends know you're an ecologist?
I've published books. Publicly, when I give interviews, it is as an ecologist. But those who know me know I have specific interests within the field.
Perfect. I've also got one important rule I forgot about.
Oh, no.
When you are playing in a spooky spectacular, you should play your characters authentically and recklessly.
Okay.
As someone from the Stolen Hearts podcast once said, drive your characters like stolen cars.
Okay. Okay.
You're supposed to have fun with them,
Okay.
explore all the good stuff, the bad stuff. And
Don't be precious about it.
Don't be precious about it.
Where did we land on my special fancy boots?
Yes.
I'm a sneaky crook.
They will have to be introduced at some point.
Okay.
All right. You're in this settlement,
Ooh.
Southern Ajrod.
Okay.
Rala slams down the landline
Ah.
and says, well, all right, this is going to be a bit of a long and bumpy journey. There's a lot of strange storms in the south, but that'll be all right. We've got Benji here, who is going to navigate us once we get closer.
He salutes.
I tip my hat.
But yeah, if you got anything that you don't want to get wet, make sure you put it in these bags over here, and we'll get on board the Everlast here in just a moment.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I guess, by the way, if you haven't met yet, get familiar, because it's a small boat.
Yeah, Dr. Dhin is going to extend a hand to Benji and say, hey there, nice to meet you.
He'll accept enthusiastically.
Oh, all right there,
Very, very nice to meet you.
young fella. Say, how long do you reckon this journey is going to be?
What a good question. I love when people ask good questions.
It's about a 3-day trip,
Whoa.
if you're selling directly there,
Okay.
And we are sailing directly there.
to the degree that you can,
Yeah.
not knowing exactly where it is.
Yeah, depending on the weather, probably about 2.5, 3 days.
Oh, it's very
But
nice. It's,
with these storms, I don't know. Rala, have these storms been happening out here more frequently lately?
Well, frequently, I wouldn't really say so.
Okay.
Well, what's Rena doing?
I'm sitting in a chair in the corner, and I'm knitting. I'm sort of muttering to myself.
I'm going to walk up to you.
Oh no. Okay.
I'll walk up. I'll put my little possum hand out.
I
Very
look
pleased to
up
meet
and
you.
I continue knitting. I'm Rena.
Scoutmaster Benji, I pull my hand away and bow instead.
She smirks.
Turn around and leave you
That's
to
exactly
your
what she
knitting.
wanted.
Ms. Rena, do you have any luggage that you need help getting on the ship, or?
I have one very small bag, but I won't let anyone touch it.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes. This is my bag. No one touch it, please. Thank you.
Understood.
Sounds good.
She sort of like clutches a little chain of worry beads around her waist. She's got them sort of tied to her apron.
Okay.
And she sort of plays with them a little bit and just kind of mutters to herself, I've flacas. And she just,
Can I like, I don't know. I want to get a read on this lady. Like, do I want to spend 3 days on a boat with her? Is there something?
She makes great food.
Do I?
That's up to you two.
Yiayia Rena shows respect to those who show respect to her.
Okay.
So that's up to you fully.
Well, Dr. Dhin respectfully ignores her for now.
She's cool with that.
Then he'll probably set to work helping him load up any stuff on the ship that is straggling.
Perfect.
I'm going to walk around the ship and make sure all the pieces are good and tight on the ship.
All the
And
ship
I'm gonna
pieces.
pat the railing a little bit, pat the floor.
Perfect. You walk around with Marnie, take a good look over everything. It's a very small vessel, so it's long, but it is very thin and kind of small. It's perfect for going through really wave-intense environments, and it's also very fast with that profile. So good for going there and back kind of thing.
Okay.
You've got just enough rations really to get you through. Not a ton extra, because the boat really can't support that.
Yeah.
Benji, as you're walking around the boat, yeah, let's have you do a perception check for me.
That's a nat 1.
No.
Oh no.
+2. I don't. Do you guys do ones as hard ones, or do you add things you have to it?
It kind of depends on the situation.
You got it.
If it's something basic, like I try to open a locked door and you get a natural one, I'm not going to make your hand explode or something, but
That could be fun.
okay.
Yeah, I think he is just he's feeling a little nervous. He's been out on the water quite a bit, be hearing about the storms. He is very prone to seasickness, which is a great irony to someone in his line of work. And as he's walking around and looking at things, he just breaks out into a cold sweat.
Yep. That's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
I don't want to throw up in front of my new friends.
That'll come up later.
Okay.
So Rala and Marnie show you to your quarters. So there's actually 2 different sets of quarters on the Everlast. There's kind of a crew passenger, which is much nicer. There's actually 5 bunks in there. You're only using 3. And then there's another smaller area that leads to the captain's quarters, which is actually far worse in comparison. It's a lot tighter, but if you peek in there, you can see they've got all their little trinkets from all their travels. Kind of a maximalist
Cozy
sort of.
in there, yeah.
They've got everything in there. As you were perceiving the boat, Benji, you don't notice any immediate damage, but you just get this terrible, terrible feeling that it could just be split in half.
Oh.
My whisker's just gonna start to fray a little bit. I'm like kind of gripping the railing.
Do I notice Benji's duress?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we all notice?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone.
He's not doing a good job. Hiding it.
I say, friend Benji, there you seem a little anxious.
Oh no, it's gonna be fine. I, occasionally can get a little seasick, and I don't want to do that. So I think everything's gonna be fine. The ship looks like it's in great condition, and I can recuse myself in case that happens to me. Do you get seasick?
Oh, I myself do not, but I have been on many a water vessel with many a friend who have experienced many a symptom. And gosh, I'll tell you, I find the best solution is really a distraction.
Yes. He said all this without looking at you. He's just looking straight ahead. Yes, that does seem like a good solution.
And I think Dr. Dhin is gonna try and distract Benji with some exploit of a great water beast he fought once in a different Arctic sea.
Whoa.
Or cold sea.
What's the beast?
Have you ever heard of dire shrieking eels?
No, I don't think I have. Maybe in a book once, but
Well, I'll tell you, when I was a much younger crocodile, not too far from here actually, just a few kilometers east along the coast, they have the dire shrieking eels. And I'll tell you, I got to go on an expedition hunting for one of them. It was not too unlike this expedition here. Me and 4 good friends of mine, interested in studying some nature up close and personal.
Did they shriek? Were there many of them?
Oh,
How big were they? How can you tell them apart from other eels? He starts to pester you with nature identification questions.
And Dr. Dhin just very patiently clocks each question and answers them one in turn. Do you really want him to go through the whole story about
I just need to know if they shriek. Did they scream?
Oh, they shrieked like something out of a nightmare. It was unimaginable. All around you the whole time, especially once they know what you're up to.
Rena looks at Dr. Dhin and sort of with a face of disgust, and she goes, "Wait, so you for fun, you hunt these things? Do you
not
hurt
at
them?"
all. Well, they are very often do not survive the process, but the advancements made to science and our understanding of the natural world is just...
But you do not eat these
Are they edible?
Oh, ma'am. And he turns to look at you and he says, "I surely do."
You use every part?
He looks thoughtful for a moment and then nods his head and says, "Yes. Yes, we do."
Okay. She doesn't know how she feels about this. She's not a fan of hunting for sport.
Well, ma'am, I'll tell you, once you've had a bite of fried shrieking eel, you'll change your mind and just like that.
She kind of just spits and
Oh,
looks
bless you.
away.
You said you have a big leather hat on.
Big leather hat.
What type of
Velociraptor.
That's impressive.
He
Goodness.
smiles at the ocean.
And with that, you feel a small thump, and you see Rala undoing a rope, tossing it on deck, undoing another rope, tossing it on deck, and they step off the boat, kick off the dock, and you slowly start drifting out to sea.
Yep. Certainly no unsettling feelings here.
They walked into the back of the ship, and it has a very small kind of turbine-based motor. It's not really some of the more advanced stuff we've seen. So they go to fire it up, and doesn't quite work, and boom, 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 fails again. Oh,
Everything all right down there?
could you just give me a quick hand? I think I have it's a little stuck.
Oh, here, I got this. I'm very strong.
Nice.
I will help. And she pushes her shawls back and reveals 2 really just solid arms. Very muscular, and she steps up to help. Tight grandma.
Nice.
Tight Yiayia.
So I don't know why, but this thing has a pull cord.
Okay.
It's just that
She grabs
whatever
it.
this dial is, you know?
Yeah.
It just gets it started, and then it has a secondary thing that kicks in.
Right, but you need the momentum from the
Yeah.
yank.
Yep. So Rala says, "Okay, just get this part and just make sure you rip it, not at an angle. That might break the cord."
Okay, so she grabs it with both hands and tries to pull as hard as she can.
Perfect. Can I have a strength check? Or athletics?
She did not have breakfast this morning, and she got a 3. She didn't eat. She tells herself it's the most important meal of the day, but
So it's not, you're still a strong person. It was just controlling it in the way you needed. So you rip on it and the engine fails, and you rip on it again, and then it fires up. But as you go to put the cord back in, you realize it has snapped off.
Tanagiamo.
Well,
Uh-oh.
we are moving. Just let's not stop, I guess.
Surely there's got to be some kind of way that we can make a repair. We're not that far from the shore, are we?
Is that safe? How do we come to a stop?
Well, I think with the storms coming in, let's just get to Camterra and we can fix it once we arrive.
Okay.
It's a one shot. We don't need to turn this thing off on the way there.
Dr. Dhin starts looking at reviews online. Oh, no. I said there was no, like, phone.
There's no
There's only
online,
dial-up. Okay.
You can just ask people.
You have a
around
travel book. You have a Rick Steves.
Yes. He's got a dog-eared travel book where he found their number. And he's double-checking to make sure that they came well recommended.
Yeah, that's why you chose this one.
Yep.
I mean, it was
It's
also
the only one.
the only option.
The only
Yeah.
expedition going down here.
But
Yeah.
they've been traveling for like 25 years.
All right. Well, if they've survived this ocean for this long, I suppose they must know what they're doing.
Yes. Well, I've known them for many years, and I would presume they know exactly what kind of twists and turns this might throw at us. And I'll pat the little engine very nervously.
Aw, that's a good little engine.
Well, thank you
You're
for
very
your
confident.
confidence. Oh,
I just said he was a very confident opossum.
you are confident.
Well, it's necessary
times.
when you're leading others through nature safely. He turns around and leaves the room.
Irena chuckles to herself. She finds the possum amusing.
An amusing fool.
Yeah. Cute little Malacca.
Marnie steps into the room, or into the back of the ship, I guess, and says, "Okay, I'm gonna prepare some food for us. A little bit of drink. I mean, we're close. It's the season, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I'll
it
let
surely
you.
is.
I'll let you know. By the way, it's like 3-4 days before Yule at this point.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So there's the festive spirit is in the air.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the dining areas are above deck.
Okay.
Over the next hour, Marnie's going to be setting up the dining situation, and then you all get to just kind of let me know how you spend your first hour after you've watched the boat slip away from the shore and Ajrad fade into the distance.
Well, Rena needs to calm her mind with activity. So she keeps asking if she can help in the kitchen. I don't know if she's allowed, but she keeps pushing.
Yeah.
She's like, please, let me help.
Marnie loves the help.
Wonderful.
The most important part of the meal is the cheer wine they are preparing. And they've got cute little candles they've set it up and a couple of decorative pewter plates. And what meal are you preparing with Marnie?
I think Rena is probably doing something very labor intensive. So she's probably making dolmades, which are rice and sort of dill and lemon seasoned, sometimes with meat in them, and then they're wrapped in soaked grape leaves. So she's painstakingly wrapping each, and with each one, her shaking hands get a little calmer.
She's so strong. She's like really wrapping them.
Yeah, she's they're
Little
tight.
bricks.
They're tight little burritos. She is a mountain goat, so while she lives near the ocean, she avoids deep sea traveling. She does not often go on boats.
I think that Benji is going to try to recoup himself. He feels rather shaken from the first 20 minutes of this voyage, and he's going to crawl into his little crew quarter and probably read one of his many, well-worn, dog-eared Scoutmaster guides. Maybe there's one on aquatic travel that he would like to read just to, try to get a little more comfortable with everything that maybe is about to happen.
Perfect.
Any ways to fight seasickness. He's reading that chapter 2 or 3 times over. He read it the first time and he didn't really absorb the words. So
Rena noticed that he's like on the verge of throwing up this entire time, and before he goes to his quarters, she reaches in her pocket and finds some dried ginger peels and offers them to him. She says, "Chew this," and she gives them to him.
Yes, Mom.
She smirks and walks
He takes
away.
them and then he does the possum thing where he goes
Yeah, it's super loud in there.
It's really loud. It's super loud chewing. But he feels absolutely calmed by the end of his...
Dr. Din's trying to figure out if Benji closed his door before he started eating.
You said there's a sheet, right?
Oh, that's
It's
right.
just a sheet.
Yeah, so that's nothing.
There's just a shadow being projected by the oil lamp, and
Yeah.
Dr.
Sound.
Din goes
Wet
up on
smacking
deck.
behind the sheet. Absolutely.
He grabs his old, worn-out journal is what he has, and he leaves the quarters area. He's gonna go sit up on like near to the bow of the ship as he can, and just kind of like be looking through his book. He is excited about what is waiting for him on this island, and he's like trying to figure out like, oh, well, it could be perhaps some evolutionary cousin of this monster, or maybe it came here from while there was an ice bridge. Ooh. He's speculating.
And is any of this out loud?
If you're standing like right next to him, maybe like the odd like, oh, and this could be that, but he's not like
but he is
giving
talking
a
to
lecture.
himself.
Okay. I don't think Rala or Marnie really take note of that. So unless
That's
everyone else, you just get to have your moment.
Yeah, is any always on the lookout for wild. He is actually an ecologist, among other things. So he's always on the lookout for interesting wildlife. Is there anything cool in the water here?
Ooh, give me a animal handling check.
Ooh.
Also, we'll change up the vibe a bit.
14.
14?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that seems a little bit strange to you is anytime you do see a creature larger than a standard fish, the oceans are filled with large things.
Yeah.
Normally they are migrating east to west around this time of year, but for some reason they're all moving north.
Ah. And we are traveling south.
Yes.
I make a note of that in the little journal.
Marnie dings a bell. Ting, ting. And you snap out of your reverie, and Benji comes up from where Benji was, and and Rena's there too, but there's a little feast on deck at this point. They've got candlelights, red, green, white candles all over the place.
Oh, yeah, I visited Olicona a long time ago. It looked just like this. How lovely.
Lovely place Olicona is, isn't it?
With the candles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole that from us.
That's
That was totally our thing. Yeah. The candles is our thing.
Would you like to regale us with a tale about the Placosta Toe candle tradition?
Well, it's the same as an Olicona, but better.
Dr. Din's just nodding his head. Fascinating, yeah. So Dr. Din is just like every detail of the feast is like if it's not something that he's used to from his tradition on Fawn, he's just taken by it. He's like, oh, what a charming spread. Look at these napkins. Wow.
I mean, it's Marnie's favorite time of the year.
Oh.
Yule is just a time to celebrate when you've gotten through the dark times and you got bright times ahead.
Yeah, he'll pour. I mean, does everyone have cheer wine poured out?
Yes.
Right, so he'll hold up his glass and, well, Mr. Benji, Ms. Rena, Marnie, Rala, to bright times ahead.
Clink, 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 clink.
Clink, stiniasu.
Clink. Choo, choo, choo.
Chum.
Rena drinks a small
He drinks
sip
that way too.
of wine very cautiously. You can see her demeanor change around alcohol. She looks around and something dark. You see something dark in her eyes. She's trying to limit herself.
Wow, Raina, you appear the picture of vitality. Something. Maybe it was just a hanger. You just need a little food in you.
Yes, food.
Get some more color in your cheeks.
Marnie steps away from the table for a little bit and disappears down into the quarters. And Rala asks, so what's got you traveling out here? I mean, I know why Benji's here, of course.
Of course.
Benji's just like shaking and
For a
sweating.
second, Benji forgets who he is, where he's from, everything that's ever happened to him, and then it all comes flooding back. I used to charter nature walks, used to do more guided nature excursions, and lately I've started to slow down on it a bit. I don't know, you've probably heard of some of them. Some of them, we really kind of got out of some really tight scrapes. Some people call me a hero, but I think that's a little overstated. We've really we've done did our best to get out of some tricky to navigate areas, and it's taken a toll on me in my wizened older years. And
Yiayia Rena laughed very loudly.
I've been a little more sequestered lately. I've been keeping more to myself and reading a bit more on nature identification out here. But when I heard from my good friends Marnie and Rala, I thought it'd be a good way to kind of get back out here for a little bit, and certainly not be sick in front of all my new friends.
Marnie steps back on deck, and as she walks past, Rena just drops off a little mug. Has peppermint tea in it. She sits back down.
She smiles and just sort of motions a thank you.
Would I know any tips and tricks for calming this little fella down?
I think we're just gonna have to deal with the chaotic energy. I don't know if there's not much more.
All right.
I mean, he seems better than when you saw him earlier. Mm-hmm. I think you can tell when he says this kind of exposition about his life. He's had to say it a lot lately, and so it's it might be a little nervous, but it's rehearsed, and it seems like I mean, I can't say it seems like a genuine statement. That's not really how D&D works, but it comes from the heart.
He's not intentionally giving, don't trust me vibes.
You can check, I guess. But no, from my end.
Do I trust this possum?
He looks a little too nervous to be lying that poorly.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's outside of my control. You two get to decide if you trust each other or not.
Fair.
And I only make people roll against each other if they want to.
Okay.
Sure.
So,
well, for my own part, I came to study. I'm a scholar of sorts. There are just fascinating creatures hiding in all kinds of corners of the world that we haven't gotten the chance to study or sometimes even see. I don't know if you heard me talking about the giant shrieking eels earlier, but we don't know how they reproduce.
Really?
No scientist has ever observed it.
Well, maybe that's because that is the natural order of things, and we shouldn't observe it. We shouldn't, if they don't want us to. If it's not natural, maybe we shouldn't push it.
Well, the world of science is not a rewarding place for the prudes of the animal kingdom, I suppose.
Didn't you say you captured and consumed one? Do you ever capture specimens on your travels for future observation?
I have, yes. I myself am not in possession of facilities to store an animal so that it might happily live
and reproduce.
Or reproduce. So I am unfortunately relegated to studying them in the natural world. I say unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I love it. I get to come out on expeditions like this and meet fantastic people like you.
Yes.
Yes, I am fantastic.
He takes a big swig of the wine, pats your shoulder awkwardly.
So are you traveling out to the island to see eels do it, or what?
Oh no, this is unrelated to the eels. This island has very little literature on what flora and or fauna. I'm more of a fauna expert myself, but what flora and or fauna might be found.
Well, of course. I mean, Khiem Dhin was picked because there was no flora or fauna there.
Oh, but nature always finds a way. There's something. Something's hiding in that place, and I'm gonna find it.
Unless it doesn't want to be found.
Unless it doesn't want to be found. May I ask, Miss Rena, what brings you onto an expedition such as this?
She grasps her beads, her string of beads, and looks kind of distantly and just goes, traveling. A friend recommended this place. I just needed to get away.
Is that so?
Yes.
They didn't come with you?
No, they're busy.
Yes.
And that's all she'll say.
Can I roll an insight against you?
Sure.
All right. Ooh, 25.
Wow.
You can roll against me, I guess. What would she have to roll to stop me from inciting something?
Deception, maybe?
If you're
Yeah.
intentionally being deceptive, yeah.
I am intentionally withholding. Yes. 19.
Ooh.
So,
Dr. Din nods thoughtfully and returns to his cheer wine.
she sips her peppermint tea.
So you've intuited something strange, but there's no real information
No,
there.
yeah, like
besides-
there's more to this.
You can tell I'm withholding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got your quarters all set up.
Uh-huh.
Feel free to tuck in whenever you want. Marnie and I will just be taking shifts throughout the night, and hopefully we'll make some good progress out there.
Do you need a hand at all? Keeping watch over the night?
Well, that's a little unconventional, but if you would like, we will not turn down the offer.
Okay, all right. I'll help him keep watch over the night then.
Okay. So, they've had a long day so far, so you're actually going to get the first watch.
Ah. Okay.
They say this
Yeah.
is unconventional. Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Sorry.
It's unconventional, but
So, the Everlast has a very simple capstan wheel and a compass attached to that.
okay.
So they said, right now, just point it due south, keep going. We're not going to get there tonight, so don't even worry about where we're going. Just make sure you don't hit anything. If there's something there shouldn't be.
I'll let you know if anything alarming comes up, but seems like I should be more than capable.
Perfect. Well, then we're going to turn in for about a couple hours. I'll get up and relieve you, and then Marnie will take shifts, and you can sleep well after that.
It sounds great. Is there like an alarm bell or an emergency thing that I can ring if something bad happens? Have
Just-
I seen that?
Yell real loud.
Hello. All right. So I steer.
Perfect. Okay. So those two buckle down for the night, or at least for the next couple hours.
Yeah.
Food has been put away. Benji, Rena, what?
Rena does not trust this alligator man, and she.
That a crocodile is quite a different animal.
You can't hear me right now. Rena does not trust this crocodile man, and she, without being overtly obvious about it, she just kind of lays down but does not go to sleep. She doesn't want to be asleep while he is the only one watching for all of us.
Oh, okay.
So she just kind of sets herself up and rests but doesn't sleep.
I think Benji is a little tipsy, and he's going to follow you into the captain's quarters, and he's here to assist you in as best a way as his current state can. But would also love to hear more about maybe some of your nature identification stories. He's hoping to hear more. That dire shrieking eel thing really threw him. It grosses him out that you ate it, but he would be lying if he said he wasn't curious.
I'll tell you the and you know, he's just like steering through the night. He's gonna tell stories as long as Benji lets him talk.
Okay, great, perfect.
But you know, he starts on about, well, you know, this is my first time on a frozen landscape. I've been all the way up in the northeast to the frozen island of Gello. Now, I know it's a scary place and you're not supposed to go there, but I'll tell you, there is some fascinating stuff living in that island. And he'll just start talking about giant things that shouldn't be giant and frozen things that shouldn't be able to live in frozen places. Just spinning tales.
Spinning yarns.
Yarns. He's spinning yarns.
Okay. And he'll go to bed when you call your shift done.
All right. Is anything, do I need to like roll? Is there an exciting thing that happens during my shift? I'm watching the water. I am looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're staring out to sea. And how long has it been since you last thought about Kristoff?
I think earlier today, the first time he saw Benji being like nervous and sick.
Oh, so it's been the first time in a while.
I think he thinks about Kristoff pretty often. Maybe not every day, but certainly when there's like a younger, more nervous adventurer around him, he's gonna draw on that experience.
And were you the first to the scene?
No, I heard about it after the fact.
Gotcha. So I think your entire 2 hours up here, once you got comfortable just navigating, that's kind of where your thoughts dwelled for an uncanny amount of time, and you'd spent more time thinking about that than you have at Win 1 duration.
Huh. Okay, I think then like the second his shift is up, he's gonna well, Benji, it's been a real pleasure. I'm gonna start up my bedtime routine and maybe try and get some shut-eye.
Oh, okay. Every couple minutes, Benji just takes out his own compass to look at it and compare it to the other one, and kind of dozes off a little bit, and he's like, okay. He scrambles up to get himself together and go to bed.
Like help him get to the cots downstairs or whatever.
That would be good.
But once Benji's been tucked in for the night, Dr. Dhin is gonna not go to bed just yet, and he like makes a hand rolled cigarette. He's a tobacco man, and kind of shakily smokes it while watching the water.
Ooh. Okay. You'll tuck in for the night.
Once the cigarette's out, he'll.
Yeah.
A good bedtime cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Chamomile cigarette.
Chamomile.
Sleepy time. Sleepy time tobacco.
Yeah, celestial seasoning's really good.
The bear has a big pipe.
Well, that's different.
Benji.
Yes.
You hear a slam at the door. Glass cracks. And you sit up in bed and throw off some comforter blanket that you've had.
That I'm so lovingly tucked into, I didn't realize.
You look around the cabin you're in. A literal cabin. In the woods.
Wait. Okay.
I launch out of bed, and you said glass breaks. Just go running, whether I've got shoes on or not.
Just start right into the wilderness.
Is the cabin's empty?
The cabin's empty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking desperately.
Looking around.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Something's been taken or something's coming for me. I'm getting out of this cabin.
You take off through the forest. And what kind of forest were you in?
I was picturing something kind of Canadian wilderness-esque. Tall, thick brush, kind of, when the weather's bad, very difficult weather.
Right.
Lots of pines, Doug firs, spruces.
And you're running through the pines and the spruces, searching desperately for whatever was making that noise, but also you feel in your heart that you're still looking for someone else.
Yes.
Someone that you've been looking for quite a while.
For years. Yes, it's a dull ache, but whenever Benji is shocked with fear on anything, it's the first thing that comes to mind.
I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
22.
Wow. So, as you're running through the forest, your heart starts to race. This feeling that is repeated several times before. A panic starting to set in, a pain, physical pain in your limbs. But you take a real deep breath, overcome it, and then realize that you've found a location that's very familiar to you. Quite close to where you had set up camp the night that all the bad stuff happened.
Yes. And all the snow, all of the temperature, all the pain just starts to turn to numb. Just don't feel that. Just cannot feel that much.
I'll need a survival check from you.
What did you do?
Nothing. He's a good boy. 12.
Okay. So you know there's 3 paths that you had gone down that night. One led off to the river. One kind of led off to an area that people were using for the restrooms. And then one was where you were going to continue hiking the next day.
Okay.
You're trying to remember where everyone was the night that you were trying to gather everyone back up and get out of there.
Yes.
Which path do you choose?
So in this, people have been gathered up, or I'm trying to gather more of them up.
You're specifically doing your best to try to gather up Gregory.
Okay. I'm going to check the path ahead, the path that we were going to continue on tomorrow.
Perfect.
He's small. He doesn't know. He probably doesn't even know where the bathroom is.
What animal was Gregory? Possum?
Let's say little dog, little puppy.
Oh, Benji the puppy. You're walking down the path, keeping your eyes trained for the shape of Benji. And then out in the
Gregory.
fog, or sorry, Benji, you are looking for Gregory.
I'm Benji the not dog. Yeah, it's a little more confusing.
You see a small shape that definitely could be Gregory.
I tear towards it.
You go running towards, and there's a snowy fog that has kind of started to set in as the night is getting heavier. You run forward towards the shape, and then as you get close, you realize it's a little snow-covered mound, and you're not sure what's underneath there. And as you slide to a stop in front of it, you hear a thump, big crunch, and you see the tail of a cloak kind of drift over the top of it and brush off just a little bit, and you can see puppy hair sticking out. You can't see above you just yet.
Okay.
But you know something's there.
I am trying desperately to clear the snow off of it to try to figure out which way is up, where the head, where the tail is, and see if there's any little life left.
You start, but you don't look at what's above you. You're digging for Gregory.
I'm digging for well, yes, I see some little puppy hairs. I just want to try to do everything I can to excavate that little area, see what I'm working on.
Okay. So you start digging, and your hands start touching puppy fur. And as you dig down and keep pushing and trying to like grab and roll over, the only thing that comes back is just a pelt.
Oh. I wake up. Sorry. Kidding, cut that. I scream. Oh. Yeah. Fingers numb. Still digging. Still only thing I can think to do.
And you are digging, yelling, and then take a brief look up and you see just 2 sets of antlers curving up beyond whatever this big shadow of a thing is, and then you wake up yelling, whimpering in your cabin above the Everlast.
Loud. I stop. It's one of those things where I don't know if you do this when you sleep, but if you yell, you wake up and you think, what is that sound? And it's you for a couple seconds before you realize.
That's got to wake us up too, right?
It does.
Yeah. Benji!
Are we all... Would you remind me, is this like a bunk bed situation? Or are we all very, very close to each other?
3 different bunks kind of on against the walls and kind of a triangle shape on the nose of the ship.
Okay. I throw the blanket off me because I'm both freezing and hot. Too sweaty.
What?
Taking deep breaths.
Yeah, Rena's. She heard the first scream. She's already there. Her whole facade of like being a standoffish is, she was woken up by this, so she runs over and tries to see if he's okay.
It's just trying to really center himself. See the bed that he's on, the sheets that are near him. He pulls them back. Open, and is just touching things, making sure that this is where he's at. And he looks up at you and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
terrible dream.
Nothing to be sorry about. Just breathe."
You got any more ginger?
Yes. And I give him a little ginger, and I also have a little chocolate squared away. The sugar's good for
Are there any
nightmares.
windows down here? Any portholes?
No.
Say, Mr. Benji, why don't we get you some fresh air? Will that help?
Will that help? I don't think it'll hurt. Thank you.
Capital.
Thank you, guys. I'm so sorry.
No.
And Dr. Dhin clocks the brief maternal flash.
It's very clear she's done this before. She's raised children.
Yeah.
33-year-old children.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's 75. She has grandchildren.
And once we get up to the upper deck, there's like where we can see the ocean. Dr. Dhin is desperately searching the water for any other living things traveling the same direction as us.
I think right now it also is raining just a little bit, just kind of sprinkling down. The waves are starting to get a little bit rough, and there's not a great visual down below.
What are Rala and Marnie up to?
Rala is sleeping at this point, so you've gotten quite a ways into the night. And then Marnie is staring off into the middle distance, almost in trance-like.
It's like if I wave my hands in front of their eyes, it's nothing.
It takes a while. You're like, wave, 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 and then they blink, just look around and say, "Oh, sorry, I was just thinking."
That's quite all right, friend Marnie. There, say we've got a bit of a panicked a crew member aboard the ship. Do you have any sort of words of everything's gonna be fine for around here? Sort of tales of past experiences when everything went just okie dokie?
Well, my words of advice are that we've always got this far, and we're not to the end yet. And
That's ominous.
When that comes, it comes, you know?
Benji comes walking, enters the captain's room where you two are, and he's shaking, but he's walking on his own, and comes down and says, I just had a horrible dream, and I startled everyone, and I feel so terrible. I know you're very good at your job, but it's gonna be okay. I've just got to cut back on the cheer wine, you know.
Yeah, nods knowingly.
Apologies again.
You don't really have to apologize. I think you're all right.
Okay.
It's been a while since you've been on a ship, hasn't it?
It has,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I just want to thank you for your understanding and wish you a pleasant rest of the evening. And he goes to shake both of your hands.
Simultaneously?
No. One, and then puts the second hand on top. And then
Oh,
gets
okay.
the second hand on top.
It's like his hand sandwich.
And then is going to go crawl back into the bed.
Oh.
Well, Rena sends him off with one of her shawls that she hand knit. Because he's so small and he's shivering. He's chittering a little bit. So she sends him off with another piece of chocolate as well, because she knows that helps the night terrors.
He looks like he wants to hug her, but he doesn't.
She gives him a firm side hug.
Oh,
Yeah.
He seems very reassured.
Good.
Good compromise.
And I guess she sort of can she determine the state of mind of the captain right now?
Marnie?
Yeah. How are they doing?
Marnie is stoic.
Okay.
And patient when it comes to long journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And seems to protect themselves emotionally by just being distant.
Cool. Same. Yeah.
And unless engaged, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she gives them a nod and turns back to go to her quarters.
Then we'll jump ahead. So everyone sleeps through the rest of the night fairly okay. The next day, it rains the entire time. Just very dreary, pretty long. Most of you get to spend quiet time in your cabins. Instead of eating up on deck, Marnie prepares some food again with Rena and enjoy much smaller amounts of cheer wine for the night. But the second day passes relatively uneventfully. Rala asks, well, are you gonna help us out again tonight? It was sure nice having a couple extra hours of sleep yesterday.
He's a little, just like a beat of uncertainty, and then, why? Yes, of course. I'd love to help out around the ship. It's always a pleasure to give of myself unto others.
Wonderful. I would really appreciate it if you would
First watch again,
just a little bit longer than yesterday, if you're willing.
Yeah, all right.
Fantastic. I'm gonna go settle down.
Did the actual crocodile just pull out a D20 and roll on the deck
See how he's feeling.
to see if he was feeling up for it?
No.
Flipped a coin.
Yeah, maybe he flipped a coin. That's pretty much how I was doing it, 1 to 10.
I walk up to you and put my little hand up. I would be happy to help again tonight. I might provide a little more service that, I like your stories very much, but maybe that's what frightened me so much last night, so we can keep it a little bit lighter tonight if you'd like.
First of all, as soon as you volunteer to stay up with him, his shoulders relax a little bit. He seems to like that idea, and then he nods thoughtfully when he said his stories were too scary, and he said, "I've got other stories as well. Not everyone's as excited about the thrills of the hunt, as it were."
Absolutely. I also have some stories I'd be very happy to share with you. Did you know how you can tell the difference between spruce bark and hemlock bark? And he just starts going.
Yeah. And Dr. Dhin is fascinated, just holding the wheel and steering into the night.
I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
11.
So let me change the music.
The 11 earns you a different song.
Oh no.
You're looking out to sea, staring. It's been about an hour and a half now. Trance-like. And it's raining. It's choppy. You don't see any life swimming by either side when you would occasionally look around. at this point, you've fallen out of conversation with Benji, and you're both just sipping some hot tea, staring out at the ocean. And then, off to your left, you see a swell in the water as something cuts in front of you sharply. The nose of your ship slams into it, and the entire boat tips sideways.
Whoa! Wait! Mayday, mayday!
I'm gonna run up and ring the dinner bell.
Marty! Damn it. The other one! Wake up! I'm yelling! I assume everyone's like thrown out of their beds and does it stay sideways? Are we taking on water?
Are you gonna try to grab a wheel or anything as this? You are almost... I mean...
If I get the sense that might help,
You're the one steering the
stop
ship, right?
stop the tip over, then I'll try and steer into the problem.
Okay, so you're doing your desperate attempt.
Yeah.
The boat starts rocking back and forth, and you manage to stabilize a little bit, and you see this thing come around, and it almost hesitates until the boat has tipped, and then slams into the side and successfully rolls it over. You see rations, food. You see Benji and Rena get sucked out into different directions in the sea, and you get a moment to take a look at what has knocked over the boat.
I'm looking.
Across one eye, you see a big, long, sharp cut into the face of a Leopleurodon.
They're big.
Dr. Dhin freezes.
In the water. Literally, probably.
It's very cold.
All right. He freezes for a moment, and once he is like fully in the water, he's gonna look out for Rena first, and he has a swim speed equal to his walk speed, so he's through the water.
You're running fast, and Leopleurodon takes a big, long turn, comes back around, opens its maw, and chomps down on Rena. Splitting them in half.
What? Okay.
You hear a voice kind of cascading out of the storm.
Yeah.
Saying, "Why don't you act? Do something."
Okay.
A voice that wasn't on the ship.
Yeah. No.
A ship from memory.
He's got it. He's going to swim at the Leopleurodon. I think he just has like a hunting knife. Nah. Never mind the knife. He's just mouth first. He's swimming at it, and he wants to try and bite it on the eye.
You're gonna bite it on the eye.
I'm gonna try and bite it on the eye.
As you get close, you see some of Benji's clothing is stuck in one of the teeth.
It's a little scout bandana.
It's got patches on it.
I'm gonna try and like bite it on the face and stab its eye with my dagger, my hunting knife.
Okay, give it a stab.
Yeah. This feels pretty... 15 to stab?
You plunge that dagger into its eye.
Alright.
And it opens its maw, sucks in some water, and your kind of back end gets pulled towards the teeth, and it chomps on your back legs. It starts swimming down.
He just... he yells under the water, and a bunch of bubbles come out, and he keeps stabbing until he can't stab this thing's eye anymore.
You keep stabbing over and over and over.
Blah, 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 blah.
And then you look out into the water, and as somebody is reaching towards you.
Somebody?
Somebody.
He is gonna have a hard time not stabbing first.
At the thing?
Can he like, I don't know, it's a perception check to see what it is?
It's in the moment.
It's in the moment. And his back legs are still stuck in the thing's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to try and shove the thing reaching out away as if he's like saving it from the Leoplorodon. Like, now save yourself!
You push the thing away, and you see it just kind of waft lazily through the water.
Uh-huh.
And it's Kristoff. Rolls through the water a few times. And then Benji, you are trying to shake your friend out of a trance, still attached to the capstand,
Okay.
shaking violently.
Uh-huh.
Try a couple slaps.
Just smack him.
It's a little hand. It's not going to do much to him.
Kristoff. Oh, don't slap me, Kristoff.
I'll get my cup of tea. It's lukewarm at this point, but I'll throw it in his face.
Okay.
You gotta wake up!
Do I snap out of it at this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Doctor!
Ah, Kristoff! Too long! What?
Doctor!
You
gotta...
Benji!
Benji! You gotta let go of the wheel, man.
He lets go of the wheel, and you can see like crocodile clawed imprints like on both ones. The wood is totally splintered, and he's looking at you like you're say something real.
The difference between spruce bark and hemlock bark
Yeah.
is that one's shaped like potato chips and the other's shaped like bacon strips.
Okay, you say that. He's convinced it's you. And I think he's going to sit, and he just cries a little bit.
I'll take the wheel and we'll like switch spots. You were standing, I was sitting. Put you on there. Try to rub your little leg as I'm trying to also pilot the wheel.
He's like, suddenly, my legs! And he's looking at him, and then he starts touching his legs.
I don't touch. I had to stop touching your legs.
You're okay. You had a bad dream last night.
I suppose.
That dream was atypical, yes?
No.
Huh.
But it's I think it's very natural for it to happen to us while we're in a new environment. And we're, kind of just being thrown around. We had some rough waters back there for a minute, and you were here. And then,
yeah, what is the water like? Is it just calm? Still raining?
It's still rainy and choppy.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Are we still headed south?
As the panic set in and the vision set in for Dr. Dhin, kind of drifted towards the southeast, but you were able to correct it again. Okay. It's not too dramatic.
What's Rena up to?
She was in the room the entire time, so she didn't really hear much.
Okay.
The rain is pounding on the outside, so she is knitting. And,
you're awake. Okay.
Brooding. Okay. Yes.
Yes, she doesn't trust you with the boat. You remember.
Dr. Dhin shakily makes his way downstairs, and he says, "Oh, good, you're up."
Yes.
Ms. Rena, I was just wondering if perhaps you had a little extra of that ginger, or just a little something to settle the nerves.
Her scowl softens a little bit, and she can see he's really shaken up, and she gives him a dried ginger skin and a piece of chocolate.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it helps. Here, just sit for a little while. How about Benji and I? We have the rest of your shift. She can tell he's really fucked up. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Just sit down.
He's just gonna finish as much chocolate as he can in one bite. Probably he's a crocodile. Just
one bite.
One bite chocolate, and then lie down in one of these cots or like hammocks, I think they are, in these bunks, and just face the wall. If he falls asleep, he falls asleep. But
she ties a scarf around her head and heads outside and into the rain to watch.
If I see Rena walk out there, I'm going to wave her into...
Okay. Yeah.
Into the captain's quarters.
Into the side
helm.
room? Or
the helm.
The helm. Okay.
The helm.
Yep. She scurries over. She kind of waddles. Little hooves.
It's so punishing out there. I don't think it's safe for you to be out on the deck. Come in here with me.
I can handle it, she says very sturdily.
Okay. Well, I respect that, but I could use a little company in here.
There we go. Okay. And then she comes in.
Maybe that was a little harrowing. They don't really teach you about this in the Scoutmaster books. When the person piloting your ship just enters into a totally altered
what
state.
happened? So he wasn't himself?
No, we were here, and I was talking about all my favorite different types of grubs, and then the conversation...
Grubs are good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Well, let's discuss
Nice
it.
piney. Yeah. No, we'll talk about it later.
And then all of a sudden, I just remember looking over, and his hands were white. And his eyes were open, but he wasn't blinking anymore. And it took me about 5 minutes to get him to come to. And I doubt he's going to sleep, but I don't know that being in here is the best option.
Yeah, this reminds me, there's something growing up back home. We would hear of the sailors coming in from very long fishing trips. They would get sea mad, essentially, and take them a long time to become themselves again when they came back home. Is it like that, or?
I mean,
Yeah.
you have extended travel out in nature. Madness is kind of a small threat, depending on how long you're out there for. But I think it was just like a living night terror. That I'm worried about him.
Well, let's make an agreement that we try and stay present,
Yes.
because I think
No more sleep.
this might
Understood.
be happening more and more.
Okay. He did mention.
I'm feeling it. Also, just all of us might have moments where we don't remember what happened, maybe, and I think it's good to pay attention so that we can tell each other what's been going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have started taking notes
Good.
since yesterday. But he did mention something about Christoph or Christopher or Chris.
I don't
Didn't
know
say anything
them.
else, but just I'm making a small note of it,
Interesting.
even though it's really not my business.
No, that's good. That's good.
You can tell that he thinks it's his business.
It's his business. She's a gossip. She thinks it's also her business.
Oh, I have a feeling we'll be good friends.
Has Rena read any of the book yet?
No, she's been too nervous to open it.
Yeah. So
She just has it tied, like it's in a pouch under her skirts. So it's like on her at all times. And she holds it every now and then, but she's too scared to open it.
when obviously you recognize the effects of a trances and visions and have become somewhat adept at navigating that, I imagine.
Yes.
You can feel it tickling around your mind as like a static charge getting stronger. And you have a feeling that maybe after you slip away to sleep, your barrier might go down a little bit.
Oh no. Okay. She tries to keep her mind off of it. She tries to distract herself. She's hoping maybe it won't happen this time, but she can't control it.
Rala comes up, says, that's some of the best sleep I've ever had.
Oh, good.
I turn around and look at her wide-eyed.
We're both frazzled and we're like, good for you.
I'll take over now. Thank you.
Are you sure you don't need us to watch even longer? I'm good. I've had some tea. You sure?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fairly sharp.
Insight. No. Do you and Marnie ever get night terrors out here?
Not particularly, I don't think.
This makes sense. You're out here all the time, but our companion Dr. Dhin just had
It's not doing well.
kind of an episode.
Downstairs using the blanket to wipe tea off my face.
When you ferry other people out here, do they ever experience anything kind of weird, kind of not themselves?
I mean, Camterra is a strange place. A lot of interesting figures coming and going. But besides bouts of seasickness and the occasional panic of the ocean, it's not anything too unnormal.
Yeah, Panic at the Ocean. It's a good band. Sorry.
Predecessors to My Alchemical Romance.
It's an ancient Greek bouzouki band.
I want that now.
Okay. All right. She's not reassured, but she feels that is the end of the conversation, so she walks away.
Does Rena sleep at all tonight?
She tries not to, but I think she dozes off because she keeps not sleeping when she's supposed to be, because she doesn't trust that crocodile man. So she's pretty deprived at this point. She dozes off a little bit.
Gotcha. So when you doze off, you wake up in the cabin, and you can feel that static charge hitting. Mm-hmm. If you can, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
11.
Okay. So
not great.
We all failed.
You at least get to know that something is happening to you. You're not totally lost in the illusion like the other two were. Mm-hmm. But you wake up on the deck, or in your bunk, and then where the two other bunks were, there's just two doors.
Okay.
And then back towards the entrance where you come down into the cabin, there's another door there. But that one's a little stranger. The door itself is made out of gold, an unalloyed gold. And there are rings, like chainmail, attached all over the front of it, binding it closed.
Oh, wow. I feel a strong pull towards the gold door. Almost like I don't necessarily consciously want to go towards it, but I am.
Yeah.
I'm walking towards it. Can I open it?
So the door itself, those rings are attached all the way down it on these hooks. So you can take each loop off and then drop the chainmail down if you wished.
Okay. I think I do that as my vision starts to blacken. I take each ring off.
Okay. You attach each ring, and the door itself it kind of splits down the middle, so it just slides inwards. You have to pull it open past where the chainmail was.
Okay.
Inside, you see a path, straight path, and then it dips down low, and there's water covering it. It comes back out the other side, a little higher. So there's kind of just a room with water and a little bit of a dip.
Mm-hmm. I walk towards the water. Am I able to get through it, or is it too deep? Is it higher than me?
When you step or put your hand in it or whatever, your hoof, it's wet and cold, but it makes no ripples on the surface whatsoever.
Okay. I keep going. I keep walking into it.
Okay. Yep, you walk past, going up, and then there's another room you enter with just a big piece of sheet iron, rusted at the edges. Around the room are torches lit with a green flame the color of malachite, and they're super, super dim, to the point where they're not providing any perceptible light, but for some reason you still feel and you can still see in this room.
Okay.
But it's unconventional light. It's not what you're expecting. And then in the center of that steel sheet is a long piece of antler. Halfway up, it has a band of gold, obviously separating the two pieces of bone, and they're bound together. And the tip of the antler has some of that green flame.
Wow.
And it's charred and kind of burning.
Okay. She walks up to it, and I feel like I recognize this, but don't. It's like a past life. It's like I'm underwater. and I just touch the antler.
Yep.
I just do it. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I touch it.
You touch the antler.
Mm.
The flame on the antler remains, but all the other goes out.
Oh, God. Again. Okay. I reach for my worry beads that I always grasp whenever I need to feel grounded, and I realize they're not there. They're not on my belt. This is a thing that I do when I go into my trances, and even though I can't remember what happens when I'm in them, I know that if I am experiencing something weird and I reach down and I touch them, they're real. That means I'm still awake.
Oh, okay.
But I can't find them, so I must not be awake.
Nice.
I don't know what to do. I guess I start walking with the antler. I try and carry it with me because it's the only light.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and pick it up off the sheet metal and take it with me.
So you grab it, and this room was complete. So you start walking back the other direction. And where there was that depression with the water, now is just an open snowfield.
Okay. I feel another familiarity that I can't describe, and I just keep walking through the snow.
And as you step, crunch, crunch through the snow, it seems like kind of an endless waste. You can see little bundles here and there where there might be something underneath the snow. You see the sky itself is missing.
Okay.
It has, if you look hard enough, you can see it's dark, completely black, but then there's also like a shimmery silverness to it. That, so you can tell there's something there, but it almost feels like a barrier.
Oh, okay.
And as you're walking through the snow, far off to the side, you see Benji digging just at a snow rift.
Oh no.
And something standing over him.
Oh gosh. Okay. I see him. I don't know how I know him, but I know him, so I'm gonna run towards him and try and save him from the big scary thing. I run towards him. And
as Benji looks up, jumps up in terror, the thing rears its head back and stabs him with antlers, and you see one of those green-tipped antlers burst through their back as it lifts him up into the air.
The same ones I'm holding?
Yes.
Wait, did I do it? Oh no. My head is swimming. I feel drunk, and everything's so heavy, and I start to spin. Did I just hurt someone? Is this real? I get dizzy and I fall to the ground. Your
eyes flicker open for a period of time. You're still in the snowfield, and you realize your head is on Cleo's lap, and she's just kind of stroking you with a feathered wing until you drift to sleep again and then wake up on the ship. And when you wake up, the waves are rough, crashing, like the boat is going up and then slamming back down hard.
Oh no. Okay. I wake up. I don't quite know where I am for a second, and I feel the rain, and that kind of pulls me back, and I freak out. Was I supposed to be leaving watching? Did I mess up my watch? Did I actually fall asleep last night? I can't remember. Where is everybody? Is anyone around me?
Oh, yeah. These two are sleeping.
Okay, I'm in my bed.
Yeah.
Snoring.
Okay, I must have gone to sleep. She doesn't wake them. She looks down at her waist and sees her worry beads and knows she's awake, and she grabs them and holds them tight and tries to rest again.
Okay. You can rest, and maybe you drift off to a reverie or some kind of sleep.
Yeah.
When you guys wake up, you hear just a very distant voice. All right, I need help up here. Oh! Screaming over the wind.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay. I guess we better go.
Yeah.
Go help.
Yeah. all right.
Struggling to get jacket and sweater on.
Not a full
running
night's
up.
sleep at all, but yep, I'm ready.
Didn't put shoes on.
It's fine.
Benji
It's a
never
boat.
wears shoes.
God, just wear the old clickety clacks. And he shakes his, crocodile toenails.
When you run up to the deck, you have both Marnie and Rala just desperately trying to hold this wheel in place, but it's shaking and clattering, and the waves are crashing, and the water or the rain is pretty torrential. And Rala just keeps shouting, Benji, Benji, Benji.
He goes running straight over to them. I think he's going to cast guidance on whoever seems to have both hands on the wheel, just to give them a little bit of magical reassurance and
Okay.
a little bit of a bonus to what they're trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, they'll keep grabbing it on, but they're like, I think we need a little extra muscle, and Benji, I need you to tell me where we're going.
Okay.
You look down and the compass has been shattered.
Oh, good. Their compass.
Their compass.
Wonderful.
I pull out my compass.
The day has come.
I've got a little compass, but it's a little guy.
Okay. So right now they are pointed east.
Okay. I share as much.
Rena grabs part of the wheel to help. Just
Yeah.
because she's strong.
So, Dr. Dhin is an experienced trapper. So lots of like rope traps and building, a quick contraption to just get whatever the job at hand is done. Could he find a way to rig up a pulley system to make moving the wheel easier, or at least just hold it in place with some rope?
Yeah, I guess you could probably tie some rope to one of the spokes or whatever that would be
Sure.
called.
Yeah.
And then at least you can put your full weight into pulling it back and forth.
Okay. All right. I will try and do that. So
Okay.
a roll for that? What do I do?
Actually, I think both of you can do a combined athletics check
Okay.
for me.
15.
18.
Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah, wherever Benji is telling you to go, you can move that wheel confidently.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Is there anything else broken?
Parts of the ship is starting to get beat a little bit, but just the things on the surface, the structure itself is okay.
Okay.
So there's water splashing up and it's super chaotic. There's noise everywhere, and Dr. Dhin is still going to be like, so Rala, is this typical of the seas down here?
I told you there was a storm coming.
All right, so this is not the first one you've seen.
This one's pretty bad.
Lovely. All right.
What do we need to do? What do we need to do? How can we help?
I need Benji to tell me where we're going.
Should I make a survival
Yeah.
check? 19.
Nice. Okay. So, is this mostly intuition? Are you using the stars?
If it's pouring rain, I can't see the stars.
That's true. Not yet.
Yeah.
Compass. It's your little compass, right?
I've got my own little compass. I would say it's not going to be reliable enough to steer an entire ship for the whole way, but I can get us back mostly south.
Okay. So you direct them back south and then also direct back west a bit, assuming how far they've drifted off course. And the next 30-40 minutes is just you guys shouting orders, navigating, trying to keep things under control. Splash! The ship is just crashing into these waves. Your arms are sore and tired as you've been just holding this wheel the entire time. And this big wave comes and you do one huge jump, slam into the water, and then all of a sudden it's quiet. The ocean is completely still. The rain has stopped.
Is the sky still clouded over?
You look up and there's definitely no clouds, but there's something strange up there.
Does Rena recognize the sky looking weird like it did in her dream?
Oh, you
Is it a
feel
different kind of weird?
You feel like it's not completely the same, but there's that triggers immediately for you.
She thinks of it. Okay.
And Benji, I would allow either a nature or a perception.
Okay.
On this one.
We will do.
Could I percept as well?
Yes. The stars are quite striking right now.
17.
17?
For nature, that's a 16.
Okay. You both notice different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the most obvious is Dr. Dhin.
Mm-hmm.
There's constellations that you usually gravitate towards, and you cannot find them. And they definitely should be in the southern hemisphere right around this time.
Okay. Everyone else just see him kind of like looking at the sky, and his chest is breathing a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and he's like in a panic, like now this can't be right. I got to be looking at it wrong, and he's flipping through charts and whatever he can find.
And that causes Benji to look closer and take a deeper look, and you can see certain stars that are definitely brighter, and then dim ones in the background, and kind of like silvery little filaments going whoosh between some of the really dim stars.
I'm gonna tap on Dr. Dhin's shoulder and see if I can point out where some of that movement's happening, so he can see it too. Is there any kind of natural phenomenon I would know that would explain what that is?
Yeah,
I guess Unu question. Does the Aurora Borealis exist in Unu?
Yeah, it's based on magnets, I think, so there's no reason it wouldn't on a planet.
Yeah.
So that's probably
Magnetic field.
I
That's-
don't understand it very well.
the only thing you could attribute it to.
Okay.
But
This doesn't look good.
would I have seen the southern lights before?
Sure. I don't see why not.
And they look like this?
No.
Okay. So it stopped everywhere? Like there's not like a wall of storm behind us and we just passed into a calm place?
When you turn around, no storm, no waves.
I'm gonna look to Marnie and Rala, see what their reaction to this is like.
It is obvious that both are shocked and confused.
Okay.
Rala says, "Stroke, good luck, I guess. Those maybe were in the eye of the storm."
That's what I thought.
Rena starts muttering, and she's crossing herself, and she's like fake spitting on everyone for good luck. It's a Pulcrostrato thing, and and she is holding those worry beads. She is not vibing with this.
She is worried.
She is worried.
There's like it's standard ship stuff like a life ring and everything, a rope. Okay, I'm gonna grab one of the life rings that already has a tether. I don't need anyone to help me. I can pull myself back up after, but I'm just gonna take a quick dip in the water and look under it with my face.
Famous last word.
Huh.
I don't like that.
You take the life ring.
Okay, there's like a ladder on the side of the thing, right?
Okay, you kind of climb down
I'm
and
gonna
hang
hug
on
the
to
ladder, going down face first. I'm a crocodile. I can do this.
Insane.
And I like lower just my head in the water and take a look around.
it. Okay.
As he does this, the second he turns around and his little butt's up in the air, I cast aid on him to give him some extra HP.
You just
give
see a
him
little crocodile tail. Like,
As you dip down, the water is shockingly cold. It's the southern hemisphere right now, and it's
I
deep.
sneeze.
Oh, bless you. I think sticking your head in the water, you try to scrutinize what's down there. There's no life, but it just doesn't feel right to you. Maybe it's your dream, maybe it's the stress or the wine, but you absolutely cannot force yourself to let go of the boat or to try to get in that water any deeper.
Wait, I can't force myself to go in the water? anymore?
Mm-mm. Something just keeps pulling at your mind, screaming, no, no, no.
I go back up the ladder. Is the engine still running? Are we still moving?
Yes. It seems like it's not performing as well as it was before. Maybe damaged in the storm a bit, but you are putting forward.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a small landmass in the distance. You're probably 20 minutes away.
Are there any other landscapes or landmarks out here?
Nope.
I am going to find a fishing rod, which must exist somewhere on this boat.
Okay.
You're the animal hunter. You probably brought one.
It's mine.
Yeah.
Okay. You found it in your stuff.
I found it in my things that I packed and brought with me. And I put a little worm on the end, and I just drop the hook in the water, and I wait for 20 minutes to go by.
Okay. Nothing ends up biting. You drift up to shore, and as you approach, you see just this huge dock meant for freighters.
Yeah.
You know, carrying just tons and tons and tons of material and ore. And these docks tower probably 75 feet above you.
Mm.
And you're just this little boat
Yeah.
right now, coasting. Underneath this, there's a dense fog in the air, and you can see remnants of broken boats underneath you, sheets of metal, and some of them are poking out slightly above the water, slightly below. And Rala is doing their best just to kind of navigate through.
Rala, have these always been here, like other times you visited?
Oh, yes. This place has a history.
Rena takes the fishing rod from Dr. Dhin and pulls the worm up and looks at the worm. Is the worm any different?
Oh, it has worm on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have the worm on it?
It's dead.
It's just dead.
Dead.
Does it look like it got bit?
Nope.
I mean, I did
look at
drag it in Arctic water for 20 minutes. That would kill.
I look at you, I say, you can eat that.
All right.
She feels she says, yeah, totally, and she turns around because she doesn't want him to eat it. She thinks there's something wrong with the worm, and she doesn't want anyone to eat it, so she just discards it. She doesn't want anyone to.
Good.
She doesn't say anything, but
Don't
she doesn't.
eat the eldritch worm.
I don't know. It's just not vibing with the worm.
And then, boom, slam, slide. You crash into just a nice, sandy, gravelly beach and roll up on shore.
I jump off the boat onto sand.
Jump off. The engine dies when Rala turns it off.
Just steam cloud.
Yep. And they say, well, welcome to Camterra. Cut.
We just got here. Oh, fuck. All right, so this is Scary D&D.
I love it.
That's really
I'm
fun.
obsessed. I have to pee, and it is
Yes.
because it's so
If we had a paradise, everything we need, could anybody hurt it in fear or for greed? The balance disrupted will answer the call. If an injury to one is an injury to all, we don't know, but we will learn. We can't afford for the world to burn. From talon to claw, together stand. By spell or by sword, we defend this land.
Thanks for listening to Crits and Critters. For real, thank you. We were Pika Heilman, Winona Kwong, Austin Rasmussen, Sofia Vidal, and myself, Andrés Eduardo. You can find us and all our individual information at Crits and Critters on Instagram. We're also now offering the $5 Community Gardener tier on our Patreon. For $5 a month, we'll shout out your name or whatever non-gross name you tell me, and you'll help us pay for the website crits-and-critters.com. It would also just be so dang nice if you could leave a review, tell your friends about the show, maybe even subscribe. I don't know. And if you can't do any of that, at least do us all a favor, find or buy some native seeds and put them in the ground. Thanks again, and we'll see you when next we return.
Well then, we're going to jump into it. Does anyone need any short breaks before we really get going?
D&D,
D&D.
I'm good.
Play D&D.
I will get a little more water before we get started.
Okay, quick pause then. I'm going to leave a mark here.
Super quick.
All right. Let's get D and doing it then.